All right, so a very quick analysis and potential ideas, right, for the current Euro USD price action. Now, as we can see, we basically came out of that range of last Friday, right, which was somewhere between this low and this high here. Right. First, we basically wicked through and, price basically targeted this here liquidity, as we can see, right? And after that, for some reason, it went also for the engineered liquidity after, price basically started here where it topped out basically within that range at the bottom, right? So it came and it took out that engineered liquidity and all. And now at this point, right, it basically broke that high, right? If we then would look at this point at the current price action, so we had our Asian open. It lasted until here. Then not New York, London opened, right? So as we can see, Asian session was somewhat of, ranging, right? And then basically London opened. It did not take out the Asian low. It basically created a equal low, right? And then London pushed a little bit higher and then it pulled back a little bit. And then when New York opened here, it basically, shot up to the upside, as we can see, right? So yeah, definitely interesting price action. And if we then now would look at, this huge bullish momentum, right? We can see that price is now somewhat reacting to a potential area, perhaps. So let's just consult our 1 hour time frame, right? So yeah, we can see that on the 1 hour even, right? We had topped out here, and then we basically created a major inducement here on the 1 hour. Oh, here, right? So at this point, price definitely took out that major inducement from the 1 hour time frame, which we can see, is definitely bearish, right? And also looking to this here area, price is now reacting somewhat to that inefficient area, which also had this huge like fair value gap, right? Eventually it did got filled by this pullback, but still, nevertheless, this was the inefficient area in relation to our liquidity here, right? And if price manages to stay within that area here, we can definitely start to look for potential sells, right? Now, this area could be important. And why is that? Let me go back a little. Let me do it just like that, right? So, yeah, basically this entire bullish move to the upside, right? Before price topped out here, and then it basically went and broke that low and closed below it of this low, right? So that entire area was already retested with this year pullback, right? After that impulsive move, we had that corrective move and then again impulsive move. Now, within that huge order flow, obviously, this at least, should caught your attention, right? Because again, not only we have imbalance, right, let alone open price gap, but we have also a inefficient area. So what we can do then is let's just basically mark up a few things then. Right. Now the price is for the time being From the 1 hour, extremely bullish, right? Momentum, bullish candle. But as we can see, it definitely reacts to that area, right? So it should be interesting to see if we can consult now from this here, the lower time frame. Well, before we do that, let's just go to the 4 hour just to have a quick peek, right? And yeah, like, let me get me my, yeah, we can definitely see that on the 4 hour, we have still some liquidity here sitting, right? So yeah, price may eventually perhaps do something like this, right? Go higher. And from there, either it will continue higher or it may continue down to, confirm a BUS here, right? After, obviously, liquidity is taken out at this point, right? But if we look at the internal structure then, meaning this here single leg, right? We can definitely notice that, okay, we had internal structure here, right? Within that impulsive move or single leg from the 4 hour, right? So liquidity got taken out here, right? And then price eventually went a little bit higher. And from the looks of it, let me, remove these and let me just zoom in a little bit to this here area, guys. Yeah, so basically what I'm seeing, right, this push to the upside already got efficient by this year move. This entire, area got efficient also first time, and then price basically went a little bit higher, right? And this is then now the only inefficient area until price came and also did the same thing here, went even a little bit higher. Now, why is that? Because obviously we here have that liquidity point sitting, right? So at some point price came, took out liquidity, and it gave a reaction, right, to the downside. So we can either expect at some point, now that price is here, that, for the long term, I mean, yeah, it may come back all the way down to this year price level. But it may also not, right? I mean, it's at the end of the day a game of probability, right? So let me clear out those a little bit like that. Oh, let me do it, by the way, like that. Yes. Okay, so now that we then have, let's say, our liquidity taken out here, right? And then we had our internal chalk here, and then we again started to continue somewhat of the bearish, sentiment, right? But yeah, price still did not made a lower low, as in this move, right? So what did it do? It basically, while it was coming down, right, it left liquidity, and that's why perhaps price now came back to take out that liquidity and to create efficiency at this here area, right? So basically this area should be very interesting to see how price may react from it, right? Because prior to that, everything to the left, like I showed you, liquidity taken out here, efficiency at this here area, right? So after liquidity taken out here, price basically confirmed a internal chalk, right? Left internal bearish liquidity here, came to create, efficiency after taking out that liquidity there. So yeah, if price pushes through that area, then I think we can definitely start to look for buys, right? Until, perhaps this year price area first, right? And, from there, either we can continue buys or we can again look for, that, yeah, like short positions and basically wait along the way until a BUS to the downside is confirmed, right? So now with all that information in mind, and let me again zoom out, because this area is that 4-hour major inducement, right? So now let's go to the 50-minute time frame then, and let's just see what is happening, right? Okay, so this is definitely interesting. Oh. Now, why is that? Because this black candle took out the previous candle to the left, as in the high, right, of this here gray candle, which was pretty bullish momentum, right? So now we see a reaction, and should on the 50-minute time frame this candle or the next candle or one of the next candles close below this area, we can mark this area as a potential area of interest. If price comes back, we can consult the lower time frame, and then we can look for structure-wise and preferably followed by candle-wise confirmations to look for shorts, right? This here could be your conservative TP, right? And let me have a look. Oh, let me remove those, by the way. And we are here. Well, I mean, even if you don't want to target those 4-hour levels, as I mentioned here, right? If you are looking for aggressive P areas, I think, you know, let's say previous week low, Monday. Yeah, it will be this area, right? So around 0.7100. Yeah, something like that, you know. So that could be a potential aggressive TP, I guess, right? If you are targeting the previous weekly low, for example. Now, back to our price action here then. Now, obviously, at this point, if you immediately want to consult a lower time frame for a more aggressive approach, yeah, you can do that, right? But if you are looking more for a conservative approach, and again, guys, both have pros and cons, as we know, right? So it's really coming up to your decision-making progress. And yeah, like if the candle now at some point closes below it, yeah, we can identify perhaps bearish structure on the lower time frame within that, you know, area of interest here, right? And if price then comes back and does something interesting, excuse me, within that area of interest, but then on the lower time frame, then obviously we can utilize that, right? And if price just smashes through, then yeah, we can look for that scenario where we can look for a potential buy position, right, until that 4-hour liquidity is taken out. So let me remove these, and let's say go to the 3 minutes. Okay. Yeah, like now on the 3 minutes, we can see obviously here a structure, right? So, yeah, you could wait, I guess, right, until price comes here, perhaps something like that. And while it creates liquidity at this point, it may create efficiency at this here push to the upside, right? And then at that point, yeah, like you can wait until liquidity is taken out, followed by a single candle mitigation confirmation, and that way you can look for your entry, right? And basically start to scale in every time price creates efficiency. And let's say if it does this, you know, yeah, you can wait until liquidity is taken out here and follow the same process. But technically you don't have to, because liquidity on the higher time frame already got taken out here, right? And that's the reason why we can start to scale in or stack positions every time price creates basically efficiency, as long it happens above this here area, right? So at some point, if price indeed does this, then don't enter here, right? No longer via efficiency, because then it will need that liquidity, right? It will more likely do that, and perhaps even, create efficiency at this year extreme area, right? And then, do something similar again. So that's basically, a potential idea if the proper setup is obviously presented, right? Another thing what you can do is, you can definitely go also to the 1 minute time frame to look for more, sniper entries, I guess is the correct term. Eagle eye entries, I like to prefer. But on the 3 minute time frame, then you can basically wait until price comes below this year area, right? And does perhaps something like that. And if it takes out that liquidity, you can start to look for, sell positions, right? But now, if you are like more of a, what happens? Oh, guys, I am, yeah, like that. So the other thing then, let's go to the 1 minute. And on the 1 minute, we can also see interesting things happening already, right? Like, okay, this year high failed to close above that high, right? So if you want to still be a little bit more conservative, you can still keep this area in mind for your potential internal shock, right? And then there's the other way, obviously, the more aggressive way, because we had a sweep here and price kind of topped out within that area here on the higher time frame after liquidity was taken out. Yeah, we can also say this is our internal shock, right? Because we are on the 1 minute time frame. Now price reacts to this year area, right? There was no liquidity created in this leg, so there is nothing to be taken out, right? So if the price now at this extreme area reacts to that area, right? You can do, I guess, one of two things, right? Either wait until price closes here and then make your entry based on this entire area. From the looks of it, I guess 4 or 5 are, right? But if you are a little bit more aggressive, then I would say, wait until price closes below this year black candle, right? Because the gray one after that here was basically an inside bar. And this again within that area, perhaps, right? And if it does that and eventually it does something like this, right? Don't wait for price to come here, or don't wait for a too refined area. It will be very nice to see that, obviously, right? But the chances are you may miss out on your trade, right? So as soon as price, let's say, does something like that, now you can basically use this here area. Well, it basically comes down at the same thing, I guess, right? With your entry, like that. But instead of putting your stop loss here, putting your stop loss above that area there, right? And from there, you can wait indeed for a confirmed internal shock then. And if there is liquidity left behind, wait for price to take out that liquidity. Right? Because we can expect that, okay, price is creating efficiency at the top here on the lower time frame. So if liquidity is taken out, price may or may not still come back to that very tiny area here, that extreme, just like it did here, right? Instead of this whole move. I mean, it's basically a candle-based PY within a, well, structure-wise PY or order flow, right? Area of interest, right? So those can definitely be scenarios which may or may not play out. And if they do, right, then basically we can react to price action every time it gives us the confirmation and signals in combination with the proper setup, obviously, right? So I would be definitely interested from the looks of the line, sorry. But yeah, this could be my conservative TP. And let me go back just to the 15-minute time frame, which is obviously this level here, right? At around 0.8. Well, let's make it 4.5, I guess, something. Yeah, something like that, right? That could be your conservative TP. And again, if you want to have a aggressive TP, it's all the way down here, right? At 0.7100-ish, right? As in the previous weekly low. And if none of those things happen and price all those, ideas, scenarios for a potential short, and instead go for, buys. And then you can obviously target this year 4-hour major structure bearish inducement, right? Which sits at around 0.981, well, 0-ish, right? So yeah, let's just see what price action will give us, if it will give us anything, right? But from the looks of it, yeah, it is looking promising. But let's just see. Only if the proper setups are given, followed by the confluences we would like to see and everything. Just follow the rules, concepts, and into those extreme areas at the top. But it's a good way to build up mental strength, because yeah, from there comes trust in the system. And once you have that, then you will not have those hesitated decisions, so to say. So I hope this video will help you guys, and trade responsible, and yeah, one love.